Hello everybody, welcome to my first YouTube video. My name is Morgan. I run Horror with Morgan. I'm over on TikTok, Instagram, and now officially YouTube. I thought it would be fun for my first video if we were to go through all of the 2024 horror movie releases that I watched and rank them. I watched a total of 89 movies that came out in 2024. There are still some on my watch list that I haven't had a chance to get to yet, those being for sure Exuma and Y2K, so those unfortunately will not be on this ranking. And with that being said, let's just get started. We are going to start from the bottom with movies that I ranked a half star up to 2 stars, either ones that I generally didn't really like. In dead last place, we have The Mousetrap. I knew this one was bad going into it, but I did not know the extent to how bad it was. It's Alex's 21st birthday, but she's stuck at the amusement arcade on a late shift, so her friends decide to surprise her. But a masked killer dressed as Mickey Mouse decides to play a game of his own with them, which she must survive. I ranked this one half a star. It was bad. In 88th place, we have Night Swim. I ended up giving this one 1 star. It is about a baseball player who is forced into an early retirement, and they end up getting a swimming pool in the backyard. They hope it'll be fun for the family and also provide some physical therapy for him as well. But of course, it's haunted. 87 is going to be The Front Room. I also gave this one 1 star. This one is about a husband and wife. The wife is newly pregnant and her mother-in-law has to come and live with them. From there, shit hits the fan. Literally. Number 86, we have the director's cut. This one a lot of people really liked, but I did not like it. I gave it 1.5 stars. This one is about a punk band who meets a music video director who is offering to film a music video for them. But this, of course, takes a very dark turn. Number 85, we have Time Cut. I gave this one 2 stars. This one is about a teen from 2024 who time travels back to 2003, a few days before her sister gets murdered by a mass killer. This one could have been so good, but it wasn't, although the soundtrack was awesome. Number 84, we have another Netflix horror release. It is The Deliverance. I gave this one 2 stars. This one is about a single mother who is struggling and decides to move her and her family into a new home. This one is wild. Number 83 is going to be The Exorcism. This is another Russell Crowe exorcism movie. This one is about a troubled actor who starts to spiral when he starts filming a horror film. This leads his estranged daughter to wonder if he's slipping back to his past addiction or if there's something more sinister at play. Number 82, we have Tarot. I gave this one 2 stars. This one is about a group of friends who recklessly decide to play with someone else's deck of tarot cards. One by one, they get killed. I have to give it to them though, the monsters in this movie are pretty sick. Afraid is going to come in at 81st. I gave this one 2 stars. This one is about Curtis and his family because they are picked to try out a new AI home device. However, this AI makes herself a little too much at home. Number 80, we have Black Cab. This one also gets 2 stars. I had really high hopes for this one because Nick Frost is in it and I love him, but it just wasn't great. This one is about an estranged couple who starts to see ghostly apparitions on their ride home from a sketchy taxi. Now we are going to move on to the 2.5 star section. These movies are just okay. Am I mad that I watched them? No. Would I rewatch them? Also no. Coming in at 79, we have The Strangers Chapter 1. I am someone who loves the original Strangers from 2008. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. This one is pretty much a recreation of it, but they somehow did really bad. The 2nd and 3rd chapter were also supposed to come out last year. However, they did not. Now they are supposed to come out this year. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm willing to give them a chance. Number 78, we have All My Friends Are Dead. This one was marketed as a JoJo Siwa horror movie, but she's not really in it. She's in it a little bit, but not really. This one is about a group of college kids who rent an Airbnb for a music festival. However, it quickly takes a turn. The group is then murdered one by one, and this corresponds with the 7 deadly sins. Number 77, we have Imaginary. This is about a woman named Jessica who moves back into her childhood home. Her youngest stepdaughter develops an attachment to the stuffed bear named Chauncey. But of course, Chauncey, the bear, does not have good intentions. The performances in this were pretty good, actually. It just didn't quite land for me. Number 76 is going to be Sting. This one is about a 12-year-old girl named Charlotte who decides to bring home a spider. But this is no normal spider. This spider escapes and grows and grows and grows. So now this spider is often people, and she has to try to stop it. In 75, we have Thine Ears Shall Bleed. This one takes place in the 1860s when a family is traveling in a covered wagon. They hear mysterious sounds coming out of the woods and they believe it to be God. They worship it until they discover it is not. Number 74, we have Frogman. Now, I have to say this one does hold a special place in my heart. It was the first screener that I ever got back in March. It kind of really kickstarted this whole thing for me, but film-wise, it was okay. This is a cryptid found footage movie about Frogman, and this guy is basically going to try and find him and prove that he exists. Now, the main thing that really bothers me about this movie is all the camera glitching. Don't get me wrong, I know in a found footage movie there's going to be camera glitching, but this was a little bit over the top. But Frogman fucks. 73, we have Trap. This one is about a father and his teen daughter who attend a concert when they realize that there is a serial killer and that this whole thing is basically a trap. This movie was basically to showcase M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's singing. She's a great singer. She's not a good actress. But Josh Hartnett's performance in this was actually really good. Number 72 is going to be You'll Never Find Me. This one is a very slow-paced movie. I think I would like it more on a rewatch now that I kind of understand a bit more of what happens and goes on in the movie. This one is about a guy who lives alone in his mobile home when someone comes and knocks on his door. In 71, we have The Demon Disorder. The past of 3 brothers and their deceased father collide, and a deep, dark family secret is unveiled. The practical effects in this were top-notch. They were amazing. But I felt like because they focused so hard on that, it kind of took away from the story. But if you are a lover of practical effects, special effects makeup, make sure you check this one out. Number 70, we have House of Spoils. This is one that I actually got to be at the premiere of at Fantastic Fest. This is about a kitchen chef who quits her job to open up her own restaurant. I do have to admit, this movie did not go in the direction that I thought it was going to go, so I'll give them that. We are going to get into our 3-star and 3.5-star movies. This is where the majority of my movies are ranked for this year. So we will just get right started. Coming in at 69, we have Under Paris. This one is about the Olympics that are going to take place in Paris, and the swimmers are set to swim in the Seine. However, there is a big shark swimming around, and a scientist is trying to stop them. Number 68, we have The Beast Within. This one is about a 10-year-old and her father, and she actually witnesses him turning into a werewolf. Number 67, we have Dead Whisper. This one was also 3 stars. This one is about a Cape Cod lawyer who is drawn to a mysterious island where he is tempted with a reunion with his dead daughter, but at the cost of his soul. This is a very coastal, atmospheric movie, slow burn, so if you're into that, you will love this one. Number 66 is going to be The Shade, 3 stars. This one is also another very slow burn, and it does have quite a long runtime. If they shortened it, I think it would be much better. But this one focuses on mental health. This one is about a 20-year-old who is struggling with crippling anxiety. And together with his 2 brothers, they need to break the destructive cycle. The last clip of this movie, I could not take seriously. It was quite funny, and it's almost worth watching it just for that. 65, we have Visher. This is kind of like a found footage-ish movie where it takes place like on a laptop part of it. This one is about an online scammer whose nightmarish obsession with this woman takes a turn, and he witnesses all of these events through her webcam. This one was actually pretty creepy. And number 64 is going to be #MissingCouple. This one also gets 3 stars. This one is found footage about a van life couple who move into a new home on an acreage. And they are capturing all of this and their new life and posting it on their social media. But this farm was full of disturbing surprises. I think this is another one that might be better on a rewatch now that I understand a little bit more. Number 63 is Monolith, also 3 stars. This one is about a young journalist who has a podcast and she is obsessed with this one conspiracy theory about a black brick. 62, we have Drive Back. This one gets 3 stars. This one is about a couple who is returning back from their engagement party but gets stuck on this road and they start to lose their grip on reality. This is a time loop movie and I enjoyed it, but I think it could have been maybe a little bit creepier. Number 61, we have I Saw the TV Glow. This one gets 3 stars. I know a lot of people really love this movie and I checked it out. And I really wanted to love it. I just don't think I was the target audience for it. This one is about a teenager named Owen when his friend Maddie introduces him to a late night TV show. But Owen's view of reality begins to crack. Number 60, we have Beazle. This is one of the more recent ones I've watched. I gave it 3 stars. This is about 3 guests who all encounter this witch that lives in the basement of this house. The first part of this movie had me really excited. I really loved the first bit, and it kind of drug from then on. Considering this movie was only 82 minutes, it definitely felt much longer than that. In 59th place, we have Netflix's Don't Move. This one is about a woman who is taking a walk through a secluded forest when a man comes and injects her with a paralytic agent. As her body shuts down, her fight for survival begins. I like this one more than I think most people did. Seems like people either really liked it or really did not like it. In 58, we have Never Let Go. I was at the world premiere for this one at Fantastic Fest, and I actually also got to interview Halle Berry, which was pretty cool. This one is about a mother and 2 twin sons, and every time they leave the house, they have to tie a rope around themselves that attaches them back to the house. If they get detached from the rope, then they think something bad is gonna happen. I will say I like this one more than I thought I was going to, but there was some parts that knocked it down a little bit for me. In 57, we have Salem's Lot. Author Ben Mears returns to his childhood town, Jerusalem's Lot, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a bloodthirsty vampire. I have not seen the original Salem's Lot, but I thought this one was pretty good. But there was one part that destroyed my soul. 56, we have Haunt Season. This one is about a masked maniac who starts attacking people at a local haunted house attraction. And obviously, since this is taking place in a haunted house, some people can't tell what is real and what is part of the haunted house. For me, this was just a really fun Halloween-y movie. Came out around Halloween and I had a good time watching it. 55, Don't Fuck with Ghosts. Now, I don't think this one had an American release, but it did have a Canadian release, so I am putting it on this list because technically it came out this year and I watched it. This is a found footage horror comedy. It is about a filmmaking duo, Adam and Stu, and they are wanting to capitalize on some paranormal activity. This one is just very funny, very lighthearted. They don't take it too seriously. I had a good time with it. In 54, we have Mr. Crockett. This was the closing film at Fantastic Fest, and it is an expansion on a horror short. This one is about a mom who thinks she has found the problem to being able to calm down her child. But Mr. Crockett kind of takes the child out of his world into his world. It was fun, but it kind of fell apart at the end for me. 53, we have Smile 2. This is obviously the sequel to the first Smile, and it starts off, I want to say 7 days after the first one ends. And it follows Sky Riley. She is preparing for a tour, but of course people around her start smiling. The ending of this was predictable to me. I didn't like it as much as I liked the first one. However, Naomi Scott's performance was top tier. 52, we have Night Shift. It's about a young woman who is working her first night shift at a remote hotel. But she begins to think that she is being followed by someone from her past. This one was quite fun. It has a good short runtime of 83 minutes, and I personally didn't expect the ending. We are now getting into the 3.5 star territory. Again, I had a lot of movies in this area. 51, we have Succubus. This is one that not a lot of people talk about, but I quite liked it. This one is about a new father who is going through a separation and decides to join a dating app. However, the beautiful woman that he meets may not be who he thinks she is. Number 50, we have Hostile Dimensions. This one is a found footage about two documentary makers. They are traveling through alternate dimensions to try to figure out what happened to this graffiti artist who disappeared. This was actually a pretty unique concept, and it was pretty good. I really liked it. I think on a rewatch, I will like it even more. In 49, we have Humane from Caitlin Cronenberg, who, yes, is the daughter of David Cronenberg. Again, I think I like this one more than most people seem to like it. This one happens in the wake of an environmental collapse, and this has forced humanity to have to cut themselves down by 20%. So a father gathers his family over to dinner. He's saying that him and his girlfriend are going to sacrifice so that his family doesn't have to. But of course, things go horribly sideways. In 48, we have Faceless After Dark. This one is about an actress who gets her breakout role in a killer clown movie. But she suddenly finds herself being held hostage by an unhinged fan who is trying to recreate the movie's ending. In 47, we have Alien Romulus. I want to preface this by saying I did not get through all the Alien movies before I watched this one. And I like the Alien movies. They are not some of my favorites, but I did enjoy this one. However, with Fede Alvarez directing it, I did expect a little bit more kind of blood, but nonetheless, still very impressive. 46, we have Kill Your Lover. This is one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. All I want to say is that when Dakota tries to break off her toxic relationship with Axel, it starts turning him into this monstrous creature. In 45, we have Your Monster. This one is a horror romance comedy, which I did not think I would enjoy. I was skeptical going into it. It sat in my email for a bit. I had a screener for it. I don't know why I didn't watch it sooner. This one stars Melissa Barrera, and after her life falls apart, she meets a monster living in her closet, and she starts to develop feelings for him. Coming in at 44, we have Double Blind. I'm pretty sure this one came out this year, or at least had its wider release this year, so that's why it's on this list. This is basically a drug experiment gone wrong. These group of people, they take this drug. However, there's a catch. They get trapped, and they learn that if they fall asleep, they die. 43, we have The Soul Eater. I first watched this when I was doing remote press for Fantasia Film Festival, and then I recently watched it again when it had a wide release. This one is about two detectives who are forced to join together to try and solve what's going on when there's a bunch of children going missing and a bunch of murderers happening. In 42, we have I Will Never Leave You Alone. This one is about a man who has just been released to prison, and he is asked to stay in this house that is supposedly haunted. He needs to clear it of its spirits. If he decides to leave early, he goes back to prison. At first, I didn't think this movie was going to be much, but there was a scene that had my jaw on the floor. In 41, we have Caddo Lake. When an 8-year-old girl goes missing on Caddo Lake, a series of past deaths and disappearances start to link together. This one was kind of trippy. It had my mind thinking a lot. In 40, we have Abigail. This one is about a group of criminals who capture Dracula's daughter. They are told they only need to hold her for 24 hours and they will get a large sum of money. My main gripe with this is that they tell us she's a vampire in the trailer. So it's not a spoiler, we all know that. But it took about 45 minutes to get to the point in the movie where the characters discover she is a vampire. Overall, this was still a bloody fun movie. 39, we have The Watchers. This one is about a young woman who gets stranded in a forest in Western Ireland. She gets trapped alongside these strangers and mysterious creatures come out at night. This one got a lot of hate online. I don't understand why. I haven't read the book, so maybe if I read the book, I'd feel differently. But I enjoyed this movie, and I will stand by that. In 38, we have The Coffee Table. This one got talked about a lot this year. I can't say much about this movie, but I'll tell you it's about a couple who is going through a very difficult time in their marriage, and they have a baby. That's it, that's all. In 37, we have The Well. This one is about a young art restorer who travels to Italy because she is being paid to restore this art. Little does she know this puts her life in danger because there is a curse attached to the painting. In 36, we have Last Straw. This one is about a girl who is working at her dad's diner. She fires the staff and decides to work the night shift alone. But she is not alone. Think home invasion, but it happens in a diner, so a diner invasion. In 35 is going to be Milk and Cereal. This one also had its moment on TikTok. I believe Marcel and Brian discovered it first. This one is a short little YouTube movie, and this is basically about a surprise birthday prank gone wrong. In 34, we have The Devil's Bath. This one takes place in 1750 in Austria. A woman named Agnes marries her husband, but she doesn't feel like she belongs. And the only way to get out of it is by committing a very shocking act. The opening scene to this movie wastes no time. But I will tell you, this is quite a depressing movie. So be mindful of that going into it. In 33, we have Mind, Body, Spirit. This is another found footage movie that I did not have much expectations going into it, but I loved it. This one is about a yoga influencer. She's trying to start up a YouTube channel, and she discovers an old book from her grandma. But this is more than a spiritual self-help guide. When you watch this one, always be paying attention to the background and everything. In 32, we have VHS Beyond. This is my favorite VHS movie, and it has my favorite VHS segment. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's called Fur Babies. It's done by the Long brothers, and if you've seen Tusk, you know what to expect. VHS movies are anthology movies, and all of these segments in this one focus around like a sci-fi-ish element. In 31, we have Stream. This one is about a family. They're going through it, so they decide maybe spending a night at a hotel will kind of get things back on track. Little do they know that there is a game that is happening at this hotel, where basically these killers are roaming the halls and this game is being streamed. Basically, the ones with the most brutal killings win. These are done by some of the same people who worked on Terrifier 2. David Howard Thornton's in it, so if you're a Terrifier fan, I recommend checking this one out. There's also a whole bunch of other horror icons in this one. Okay, I am back in another outfit. I ran out of storage, so I'm filming this on a different day. Picking up right where we left off, number 30 is going to go to Late Night with the Devil. This one is about a late night broadcast show that takes place in 1977 on Halloween, and it goes terribly wrong. I also hold a special place in my heart for this one because it was one of the first screeners that I received. Number 29, we have In a Violent Nature. This one got a lot of mixed opinions. I liked it, but a lot of people really did not like it. This is basically a movie from the killer's POV. So we get to see everything he's doing, including when he's not killing. So yes, there is a lot of walking around, seeing him walk. The sounds in this movie are top tier. Like, I really enjoyed watching him walk around, and it definitely has one of the most notable kills maybe of last few years. Number 28, we have The First Omen. This is, of course, a prequel to the original, The Omen. Mel Tiger Free's performance in this was great, and overall it was a really good movie. However, there are some things that happen, especially towards the end, that just don't make sense for it being a prequel to The Omen. In 27, we have Maxine. This is the third and final installment of the X trilogy. This one takes place in the 80s, where we follow Maxine. She's an adult star, and she finally gets her big breakthrough role in a movie. There is a killer on the loose threatening to reveal her dark past. This was my least favorite out of the three movies. However, it is still a super fun watch. I love the 80s vibes. In 26, we have Apartment 7A. This is a prequel to Rosemary's Baby. This one is about a young dancer who is struggling, but she meets a couple that is promising her fame. I also got to be one of the first people to see this at Fantastic Fest. They actually gave us a little goodie bag, which made me a little hesitant about the movie, but I actually quite enjoyed the movie, and I got all these goodies. In 25, we have Bloody Axe Wound. This was one of the last releases of the year. This one is about a girl who is set to take over her father's basically serial killing business. This one was quite the surprise for me. I really liked it. 24, we have Cuckoo. I saw this one twice. I first saw this at the Calgary Underground Film Festival, and then I got to watch it again when I was doing remote press for Fantasia Film Festival. Gretchen reluctantly moves to the German Alps with her family. She finds out that this town hides a sinister secret, and she is plagued by these strange noises and this woman following her. 23, we have A Quiet Place Day 1. This was the third A Quiet Place movie. Again, it is a prequel. This basically surrounds the first day that the aliens came. In my opinion, it is the weakest out of the 3 that have been released, and my main gripe with this one is how on earth did they figure out within 10 minutes that everyone needs to be quiet, especially in a city as big as New York. I don't know. I wish we could have gotten more of them trying to figure out. In 22, we have You Are Not Me. This one is about Aitana, and she returns home with her partner Gabby after not really talking to her family for 3 years. She surprises them and comes home for Christmas, and the only one who's really excited to see her is her brother. She then notices that there's another woman living in this house who has kind of taken over her identity. In 21, we have Blink Twice. I actually just watched this one the other night. Some people don't consider it a horror movie, but I consider it a horror movie. This one is about a tech billionaire who invites a cocktail waitress to his private island. Kind of gives off Don't Worry Darling vibes a little bit. Number 20, we have Nosferatu. I know this is much higher up on most people's lists, but this is where it lands on mine. This is a gothic tale of a haunted young woman and a vampire. The performances in this were great, especially from Lily Rose Depp, and I really enjoyed Willem Dafoe's character as well. As far as the design of Count Orlok, I was expecting him to be a little bit creepier. One thing in particular that I wasn't really a huge fan of, but I can get past it. Also, the score in this movie is so good. 19, we have Somewhere Quiet. This one is about Meg and her life trying to return to normalcy after a kidnapping. So she travels with her husband to his family's isolated compound where she starts to lose grip on reality. This one didn't get talked much about this year, I feel like. It was really good and I really think everyone should go watch it. In 18, we have Infested. Residents of a rundown French apartment building are battling against an army of rapidly reproducing deadly spiders. I love this one, although I am petrified of spiders, so there was some moments that were a little bit hard to get through. In 17, we have Mads. This one is about a teenager who stops over at his dealer's house on his way to a party to test out a new drug. However, on his way to the party afterwards, he picks up this woman on the side of the road. From then on, the night takes a surreal turn, and I don't want to tell you any more about this movie. It was done in one single take, and it is so good. 16, we have Azrael. This one stars Samara Weaving in a world where nobody speaks, and a devout female has escaped her imprisonment. Basically, if it has Samara Weaving, I will be sat. Now, this is a no dialogue movie, so if you are not someone who enjoys that, then you will not like this movie. In 15, we have Getaway. This one is about a family who is on a vacation to a remote island when they soon realize there is a serial killer inhabiting this island. This one stars Nick Frost. He's great in this. All the characters are great on this. I had such a fun time watching this one. Number 14 is Sleep. A wife starts worrying that her and her newborn baby are going to get harmed by her husband who has started sleepwalking. 13, we have Low Lives. This is a Tubi original, which I think took everybody by surprise. This one's about a family who is road tripping when they are forced to stop overnight at a stranger's house. This has a twist. Some people said it was super obvious. Maybe I'm just oblivious, but it took me by surprise. All right, we are entering the 4.5-star movies. And in 12th place, we have Speak No Evil. This is an American remake of the 2020 film Speak No Evil, although that movie is in English, so I was kind of surprised when they said they were making a remake. This one is about an American family who is invited over to another family's place, and they had met this family on vacation. But it turns into an absolute nightmare. I need James McAvoy in more horror movies ASAP. Number 11, we have Immaculate, and it pains me that this was so close to being in my top 10, but it just fell a little bit short of that. This one is about an American woman who is going over to an Italian remote convent. However, her new home harbors a dark and sinister secret. Sydney Sweeney is definitely going to be an up-and-coming scream queen. Again, I need her in more horror movies like yesterday. The time has come. We are now at my top 10 horror movies of 2024. Number 10 is It's What's Inside. This was actually a Netflix movie. I was very pleasantly surprised with how much I just absolutely loved this movie. Some friends gather for a pre-wedding reunion when one of their estranged friends comes with this game that they want to play. I absolutely loved the filming of this one and their use of colors, and it definitely kept me thinking, and I had to pay attention throughout the movie. Number 9, we have Longlegs. An FBI agent is tasked with the case of finding a serial killer. If you haven't heard about Longlegs, have you been living under a rock? The marketing for this movie was really great. Number 8, we have Oddity. After the brutal murder of her twin sister, Darby goes after those responsible by using haunted tools to get her revenge. This is one of the scariest movies of the year. It was so good. I wish I could have seen it on a big screen. Number 7, we have Violet. A sick mother fears that something evil is soon going to snatch up her 11-year-old daughter. This one definitely pulled on the heartstrings, and the ending just felt like a punch to the gut. Number 6, we have Daddy's Head. A boy and his stepmother fear for their safety as a creature resembling the kid's recently deceased father starts popping around the house. I saw this one at Fantastic Fest, which means I got to see it on the big screen, and it scared the absolute shit out of me. You can ask the people I was sitting by, Chuck and Ray, every single jump scare got me. 5th place, we have Strange Darling. Now please, don't go to the comments and telling me this is not a horror movie, because I disagree. This one is basically a one-night stand gone wrong. And I mean, Kyle Gallner's in it, so what can I say? In 4th place, we have Heretic. I was lucky enough to see this one at Fantastic Fest when it was a secret screening. This one's about 2 young missionaries who are forced to prove their faith when they knock on the door of the wrong man. The first part of this movie was phenomenal. The last third, it kind of lost me a little bit, but the dialogue was just insane. It was so greatly done. Hugh Grant is a great evil guy in this movie, but Chloe East really took the cake on this one. My top 3 movies are all 5-star movies, and in 3rd place we have Stop Motion. This one actually had the 1st place spot on my list for most of the year. A stop-motion animator is forced to take over her mom's unfinished project when she becomes too sick to do so, but we watch her slip off into insanity. This movie made me feel ways that no movie has made me feel in a very long time. After I turned it off, I immediately wanted to turn it on again and rewatch it. In 2nd place, we have Terrifier 3. This one takes place 5 years after Sienna and her brother defeat Art the Clown, or so they think. But this time, it's Christmas, and Art the Clown is coming to town. I also got to be at the world premiere for this one, so maybe that altered my opinion of this movie a little bit. I also got to interview and meet the cast and crew, but I knew I was going to love this movie going into it. They would have had to really mess it up somehow for me to not enjoy it. And my number 1 horror movie of this year is going to be The Substance. A fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell-replacing substance that creates a better, younger version of yourself. Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley in this movie are phenomenal, and I am a lover of body horror and gore, so I loved everything about this, and I am so happy for Demi Moore that she won that Golden Globe, and hopefully this opens the air for horror movies to get recognized more in the awards. So there we have it. Those are all 89 horror releases of 2024 that I watched. I do have a list on my Letterboxd that I will be updating once I get to those other 2024 horror movies that I didn't get to watch before making this video. If you made it to the end, thank you for sticking around and bearing with me through this. This is my first video. It can only go up from here, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.